Hello everybody, my name's Adam and welcome back to another League of Legends beginner guide. So let's get straight into this one. So today I'm going to tell you all you need to know about the dragon. First of all, I thought I'd tell you the stats behind the dragon, just why it's so important to win to help your whole team. Now up on screen now you can see the dragon's stats. Now first of all, it's important to know that the dragon grants experience when you kill it to the killer and its nearby allies. Now the experience that's granted can vary depending on how well your team is doing and how well each individual in your team is doing. So what I mean by that is if you kill the dragon and your team is a lower average level than the team you're playing against, the dragon will grant an extra 25% per average level difference. Now this is important in the game because it will allow you to catch up on the other team, and this is why it's particularly important if you are losing the game that you don't go further behind by losing the dragon. Bonus XP is also sharply increased for the lowest level members of your team. So if someone isn't doing particularly well, for example the ADC isn't doing well, and then you kill the dragon, then he will get even more XP, which will allow him to get back into the game. Now the most important part about slaying the dragon is the buffs that it will give your whole team, which will stay for you permanently throughout the game. Now what I mean by that is if you were to slay one dragon and get Dragon's Might, and then slay another dragon, you will then have Dragon's Wrath and Dragon's Might, which means your whole team will constantly have added buffs to them the more dragons that you slay. The most important buff you can get from the dragon is called the Aspect of the Dragon. Now this is similar to the Baron in the fact that it does run out after 3 minutes, but it is the most important because of what it does. It doubles all previous bonuses, so it will double the Dragon's Might, the Dragon's Wrath, the Dragon's Flight and the Dragon's Dominance. So all those previous stats that you've built up will double, which provide a massive difference to your team, especially when trying to push down towers. It also gives you 150 true damage over 5 seconds, which means any team fight you are in, you are more than likely going to win. So now we see the dragon, and this is where it is located on the mini-map, just down towards the bottom right. Now, the reason that it is located towards the bottom right, and the reason your team is set up the way it is so that the ADC and the support are near it, which allows the support to ward it to know when the other team are attacking it. Now, when you are just before you attack the dragon, you need to know how to ward it. So you will ward it where I am placing on the screen, simply to tell you if the team are coming to try and steal the dragon. Now I'm warding these areas because I am on the blue team. If I were the red team, the wards would be in a slightly different area. But this allows you to see any enemies that are coming whilst you are attacking the dragon. You can put it in the river bush, just more towards the mid lane if you prefer that way, but I think this is the best way to set it up for my team personally. Now if you're on the red team, that is where you would place a ward to see if the blue team are coming in to steal it, and it's very easy for them to flash or jump over that wall. Another place you can put it is in the tri-bush over here, which stops their ADC and their support coming towards it, as you will also see the river as well. Now the main reason for that is to stop any of them jumping over and smiting it, especially the jungler who will have smite. This just ensures that you are most likely going to win the dragon. Now another way to ward it is by using the Scuttle Crab. Now this takes a while for me to kill it because I'm such a low rank and I wasn't particularly building towards attack damage. But the Scuttle Crab is very important because it gives you movement speed for if you do slay the dragon and the other team jump in, you can quickly get away. But most importantly, it wards the area. So as you can see, it will show you the dragon, so you can now go back to your lane. And it also shows the entry from the other side slightly. Another important thing about Scuttle Crab, it does give 50 coins, which although seems a small amount is quite important if you're looking for money early on in the game. Now before you go for the dragon, I suggest that you screen it, which is what I just did there with my Oracle lens. That is just to see if the enemy has warded it, so it will see if they know that you're attacking it. It will just give you a few more seconds as they will be unsure as to where you are. Now I suggest you don't search for wards as you are killing it, as it's fairly obvious then you are killing it. So kill it and then a couple of minutes later go back to it, and then although they'll be kind of knowing that you're doing it, they won't be entirely sure, and it will give you a few extra minutes or a few extra seconds to kill the dragon. So now you know all about the dragon and its stats. The most important thing about the dragon is knowing exactly when to go for it, and the best time to go for it is when your opponent's team can't compete for it. Now this can happen for a variety of reasons, but one of the main ways, certainly on early in the round, is when you have the numerical advantage. And what I mean by that is that, say your bot lane is doing particularly well and you've pushed their ADC and their support back, that's probably one of the best times to go for the dragon, because they won't be there to help win the fight, and the other team most likely will not try and compete it, and if they do, you will get kills and the dragon. Another time to do it is when their jungler is at the top lane. You'll know this if you have good vision of your opponents, good warding, and if their jungler is at the top of the lane, it means it's unlikely they can steal it because they won't be able to use the smite, and also there'll be at least one man down, probably two, because the top lane will be up there as well. But if, for these reasons, maybe your teams are fairly equal and you haven't been able to push their bottom laners away, then another time you can use it is when you have a teleport in your team. So if your top laner has teleport as a summoner spell, and you go in to engage the Drake with opponent's team competing for it, you're more than likely going to win that team fight. Another way to teleport, of course, is say you have a champion that can move across the map globally or semi-globally, say Pantheon, who can use his, one of his abilities to do that, and that is another way you can win the Drake. What you've just been seeing on the screen watching this gameplay is probably a tactic you can use later on in the game, and that is what we were doing there is we were distracting the other team because we were so far ahead of them, knowing we could win the team fights, whilst one or two of our teammates were either soloing or doing the dragon with two of them. That's a very good tactic because they definitely can't compete it, and you'll most likely win the other team fight as well. But this can only be used when you're doing so well and so far ahead of the other team. And the last thing I want to say is that the time not to do the dragon is when you do not have vision over your opponent. One of the main mistakes I see in beginners is that the jungler will try and solo the dragon, and it almost never works because they just get... All that happens is the enemy jungler or someone will jump over the wall, steal it and kill the jungler because he's so low on health because he's such a low rank. And that's probably the worst thing you can do, and that's probably the biggest thing I could advise against. That's all I have to say for this episode. If you have any questions, then be sure to ask me in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, then like it and subscribe, whatever you want to do. And next time I'll probably be talking about the Baron, so I'll see you then.